800 Fats, real
Mm-hmm.
name DeAndre Jennings, is from the south side of Chicago, more
Mm-hmm.
specifically 61st and Cottage Grove. He
Right.
is a member of the gang 800. 800 might just be the most hated gang in Chicago. 800 has beef throughout the whole city and snaked most of the other gangs that they were cool with.
Mm.
Some of the main sets that 800 beefs with are M Block, Mix Mob, Taekwon World, Jarl City, STL/EBT, Pocket Town, 051 Young Money, Murder Town, MOB, and TYMB.
Right.
Fats is a remorseless demon. He would frequently go live on Instagram showing his location and challenging his ops to shootouts. He once bragged on
What?
camera about shooting an op's pregnant family member, causing them to have to get an abortion.
Oh my God. So he's trolling the cops. I'm trolling the guys to come get him. Showing where he at. Then you want to brag about this?
Family members got shot in their stomach and had to abort their baby, all type of shit.
Fats
That's cute as
eventually
hell,
started
ain't it?
rapping and
That's
built a
cute.
little buzz for
Oh,
himself,
that
but he
got
was best
abortion.
known for his antics. He built a reputation in the streets for
He's
being a killer,
killing.
and he frequently bragged about committing murders. Prior to the murders that he's arrested for, Fats hinted on an Instagram live that he had killed 5 people.
Right.
As you know, gangbanging doesn't pay the bills, so eventually Fats would get desperate for cash and
Oh,
make
what
a
he
crazy
say?
gangbanging doesn't pay the bills that he had killed 5 people.
He
As
said
you know, gangbanging doesn't pay the bills,
it don't.
so eventually Fats would get desperate for cash and make a
Desperate.
crazy decision. On
Desperate.
November 16th, 2021, at 9:30 a.m., two members of the gang Face World 079 named Dewey and Spook walked up to a man raking leaves
Uh
and
huh.
demanded his car keys at gunpoint. The
Okay.
victim handed over the keys to his Lincoln sedan parked in the driveway, and the two assailants took off in his car. Around 10:20 a.m., as three armored car guards were loading an ATM at the
Right.
Bank of America at 83rd Street and Princeton Avenue, Dewey and Spook were joined by Fats and another 800 member named Little Twan, and they drove to the bank together in the stolen car. Fats, Twan, and one of the other accomplices got out of the car, two of them wielding handguns, the third with
Mm.
a long rifle. They were dressed in black and wearing masks when they then approached the guards and demanded the cash. They then shot two of the security guards. One
Mm.
of the guards, named LaShonda Hartz, age 47, was shot 6 times, and another, a 46-year-old man, was shot twice. Both were
Dang.
taken to University of Chicago Medical Center, where LaShonda died, and her partner was left in critical condition with
Dang.
gunshots to the lower extremities. The third security
Dang.
guard was not struck and was able to return fire, but did not strike the assailant. Fats and his crew were unable to get the cash
They
container from
got
the guards
robbed.
during the attack,
And
and
bruh. These are heavenly on security guards. Heavenly on security guards trained to do it this stuff. Trained to get in and out. Trained. Bro, these guys are trained to get in and out to. Damn. Y'all ain't getting it. Y'all ain't getting it. They did this to them. Killed one of them, critical to the other, and one of them they just he was safe. He was lucky, bro. And these guys have on protection in case you get shot at. I wonder if they sign something up saying like if you get in this predicament that don't put too much on them. You can't sue the job and all this other stuff. I know they gotta have that type of stuff because like this stuff can happen at any time. What just happened to her can happen at any time. Come on, y'all. Y'all are like that's a job you cannot take lightly at all. Like, cause stuff like this can happen at any time, and just so happened it happened that day, and she died. Like these guys wear vests and all that, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. Like they be wearing vests and all that, and they still manage to critical one and kill one. Mm. Just some guys on the street that's just toting guns.
fled the scene in the stolen Lincoln. They would then drive to a Boost Mobile store And once at the Boost Mobile store, Little Twan got out of the car, walked up to the counter inside the Boost Mobile, and pulled out 2 handguns, pointing them at an employee and a customer, and announced a robbery. The customer screamed and got on the floor while the clerk opened the register and Twan stole the cash inside before also grabbing several bags of cell phones and fleeing the scene. After robbing the store, Fats and Twan would backstab their own crew. Around 11:30 a.m., a witness heard gunfire and saw the car crash into a tree near 87th and Saginaw. The witness then saw Fats and Twan get out of the car and run inside a nearby home. While inside the home, a witness saw Fats, Twan, and other individuals passing around a duffel bag containing a rifle and talking about hiding their guns. Fats later told one of the people inside the home to call the police and tell them someone had been shot and killed in a car outside the house. Upon arriving at the scene, officers found the driver and a front seat passenger in the car had both been shot. They were pronounced dead shortly afterward, and numerous boxes of cell phones from the Boost Mobile store that had been robbed were found both inside and outside the car. The 2 men that were shot and killed were Dewey and Spook, and it was revealed that Fats and Twan killed them after they got into an altercation, presumably over the split of the money. The crazy thing about it is that Dewey was Fats' cousin. Shortly after this, Fats and Twan were arrested and charged with these murders. Fats is currently in jail and is charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of armed robbery, and 1 count of attempted armed robbery. He is even being accused of getting beat up in jail and snitching on Little Twan. K Shorty, real name Terezi Poe, is a rapper/gang member from Jacksonville, Florida. He repped the hood 6 Block, made famous by the rapper Foolio. 6 Block is a hood on the north side of Jacksonville in an area called 45th Street. Over the years, 6 Block has had deadly beefs with the gangs Head First from the Grand Park area of Jacksonville, ATK from the west side of Jacksonville and all of their affiliates, Sherwood, also known as Double O, T Block, and 1200/Cuckoo Gang from the east side of Jacksonville. K Shorty's life of violence would begin at a young age. At just 16 years old, he was facing life in prison for 4 counts of attempted murder. He claims that someone tried to take his gun from him during an argument, so he fired back at that person in self-defense. The shooting happened in a crowded area, so 3 additional attempted murder charges were placed on him. He was eventually able to get his charges reduced to 1 count of assault with a deadly weapon, and he accepted an 18-month plea deal in
Homeboy made out like a mug.
He was in prison for 2 years in total. After being released from prison, an attempt on K Shorty's life would be made by his enemies. On March 20th, 2020, K Shorty
I don't really be
and his
listening.
girlfriend...
I don't really be watching too much, y'all. They just show the same pictures. I'd just be listening, and I'd reacting to how
17-year-old Inandi Weish were driving home from a date when a gray car stopped in front of them and 2 males got out and opened fire. K Shorty would survive this incident with minimal injuries. However, Inandi would be pronounced dead at the scene. The most tragic thing about this is that she wasn't even the intended target. The 2 shooters were members of Double O. As I mentioned earlier, Double O beefs with K Shorty's hood 6 Block. Once the 2 shooters were caught, police investigation would reveal that they targeted K Shorty because they believed that he was the one that killed their friend, another Double O member named Swift Jit, real name Daquan Saxton, just 2 days before this incident. About a year after this tragic incident, K Shorty would start to rap and take it seriously. He released multiple music videos and he blew up pretty much right away. All of his music videos were reaching over 1 million views on YouTube, and he was on the verge of getting signed to a major record label. It looked like K Shorty was going to be one of the biggest rappers to ever come out of Jacksonville, but one crash out would change the course of his life forever. As I mentioned earlier, 6 Block beefs with many hoods throughout Jacksonville, and one of their biggest beefs is with the hood 1200. The 2 groups are involved in a deadly war that's been going on for over a decade. One of the most well-known members of 1200 is the rapper Spinna Benz. He disses K Shorty constantly in his music and is the one that resurfaced embarrassing videos that K Shorty made when he was in middle school trying to go viral as a comedian.
He's twerking in the bathroom. Look, y'all, he's so good. I need the meat. I need the meat. I suck the meat. Yeah, I need the feet. I need the meat. I want the meat. We need the meat. I want to eat it. She wanna see it. He wanna beat it. Bitch, you ain't leaving. I gotta beat it. She wanna keep. She wanna poop.
He was a
The
goofball.
embarrassment from these videos being resurfaced would cause K Shorty to crash out and throw away his life in an attempt to kill Spinna Benz. On September 28, 2021, Spinna Benz was driving in a car with a member of 1200 named Greenlight and another member of 1200
Bro, listen to the man name. Spinna Benz.
named No Face. They were sitting in a Dodge Challenger
These
outside
names be
Raceway
cool as
gas
shit.
station on Lenox Avenue when a black Range
They
Rover
wanna be
Evo
so
pulled up
cool.
and people inside opened fire on them. Spinna Benz and Greenlight ran into the
Spinna
gas
Benz.
station, but No Face was left behind. The Range Rover sped off. Spinna Benz and Greenlight went back to the Dodge Challenger and drove to the emergency room. No Face was shot in the head and would be pronounced dead at the hospital. K Shorty and one of his associates would be arrested shortly after as they did a bad job of covering up their tracks. The car used in the murder belonged to the mother of a 6-block affiliate named Tufo, or named Jacoby Zykes, and he and K Shorty were both charged with second-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder for this incident. K Shorty was arrested because he continued to drive the murder car afterwards, and he left
Yo,
shell
low-key
casings
look like
from the shooting
dirt.
in the car. K Shorty is currently in jail facing life in prison for this murder. To make things worse for him, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison
Dang.
for a separate gun charge unrelated to this incident, so even if he beats the murder case, he will still have to serve the 12-year sentence. Bando KD, real name Radim Calhoun, was born and raised in the south side of Chicago. He went through a lot of trauma growing up, and this made him jump headfirst into the streets. He said in an interview that he fully embraced the streets during his freshman year of high school after losing multiple loved ones to gang violence. He said that he's lost 10 to 15 people in the streets. He got the name Bando KD from his friend named Bando Bands, who was shot and killed in 2017. KD's a member of M Block, and their hood resides on 69th and Maplewood on the southwest side of the city. They beef with groups like Bloodhound and 800. KD was living a wild life in the streets. He would frequently go on live, showing himself looking for his ops while heavily armed, and he would record himself taking the police on high-speed chases. With a lifestyle like that, a lot of bad things arise from it. KD was shot 3 times on one occasion after being jumped by rival gang members, and he was shot once on another occasion. Outside of the streets, KD was trying to get rich so he could eventually leave Chicago behind. He attempted to do so through music. He always felt he would...
I see that everybody try to take that same route Keith did, and it draws the attention. Cause yeah, you beef with somebody, it draw all that attention, but you damn near about to get killed because of all this attention. And y'all not, you dissing ain't that far away. You can just throw up a single little area and them niggas already know, even though to me, that shit all be looking the same, like, but them niggas be saying it like, hey, I know what block you on. Oh, blocks look the same. But to me, all they look the same. But hey, them niggas know what block they on. They supposed to do all this other cute stuff for entertainment. Try to be in the booth as much as they can. Keith almost got killed in the booth. That's how much they knew where you was at. But like you can make this shit up, yo. Like you can literally just make this stuff up. Like you beefing with somebody. You ain't gotta be beefing. Half these guys that's rapping about killing ain't killing nothing, man.
Up in music. He released his first song called Session,
Look at
and
Young
he would
Boy.
consistently release music afterwards. His
Boy
music started to
putting his
buzz,
hands on
and he
anything.
eventually began getting recruited by record labels. It was looking like he was going to make it in music until a brass decision he made years earlier would finally catch up to him. On March 1st, 2022, KD and 2 of his
Always
affiliates
an
left
innocent
their house in the
bystander.
2300 block of West 72nd Street and were walking in the street.
Do these niggas be
As they
rapping
were
about
walking,
the innocent
a Buick
bystanders that they
SUV
be
drove
killing, saying
past
that they
them.
whack
The
something?
Buick SUV was full of innocent people. However, a Mercedes had also driven in the same direction as the Buick, and the Mercedes was allegedly being driven by a rival gang member to M Block. KD and his associates began to fire in the direction of the Mercedes.
He don't even know what the
However,
fuck he
it
doing.
was the Buick nearby that took the most devastating shots. An innocent 12-year-old girl named Nizaria Moore was sleeping in the back seat of the Buick returning home from her birthday celebration when she was hit by one of the stray bullets. Nizaria was rushed to Comer's Children's Hospital where she would tragically pass away from her injuries just 3
That's
days
sad.
later. Investigators found 25 shell casings from 3 different weapons at the scene. Surveillance cameras captured the shooting, but police officials said their break in the case came when an anonymous tip came forward. Due to the anonymous tip, Katie's associates named Abdul Ali and Malik Parrish were arrested and charged with this murder in November of 2022. Bando KD was the last alleged shooter left, and he was able to remain free and uncharged for over 2 years. He would finally get identified and arrested for this on September 12, 2024. All 3 men were charged with first-degree murder and are facing life in prison. 3 rappers, 2 of which were on the rise musically, threw it all away in an instant. Let me know what you guys think about these.
Throw it all away, trying to be the gangsters, man, in the world.